Hey guys, Travis Daggett, Forefront Enterprises. Want to go through some due diligence that you can do online when you're looking at deals, looking at properties. So first thing I want to look at, one of the best places to start is just to take an address. So let's just take one here. Go back and get the zip code 35005. Okay, so if you just Google the address, one of the things I like to do first is walk the street on Google. Now, most properties you can walk the street on Google. What I mean by that is you can go and take a street view and just check out the neighborhood. So this is 3014 Summit Ridge Drive. We were looking for 3015, and sometimes that happens, so that's no big deal. Let me adjust this up a little bit. Okay. So let's look around a little bit and see the street it's on. You can tell the street hasn't been paved in a while. And we can kind of look at what the neighborhood's like. Looks like there's kind of a cul-de-sac down there. It's interesting. Let's go down the street a little bit. So it looks like there are paved driveways. It looks like we have even numbers there. 3014 and now we're 3016. Okay. All right. Let's turn around and look at the other side of the street. I'm not sure exactly where 3015 is, but you can kind of get an idea for the neighborhood here. We might come back to this and identify exactly which one we're looking for. We want to look for things like bars on the windows to indicate it might be a high crime area. You know, if it's more rural, you'll see dirt roads, dirt driveways, just the general condition of the area. And I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to be the be-all, end-all, or totally up to date, but it's a lot better than just starting from scratch. Let's go back. Let's go back here to what came up when we ran our Google search. Another thing that's good to look at is Zillow. Zillow will give us a lot of information about it. Now, this particular one is for sale, and it gives the price there, and of course all the basics that we can find a lot of different places. Same with the pictures. This particular one's a HUD. It's uninsured, which means they've determined it's probably over $5,000 in repairs. I don't pay attention to these numbers, but you can sometimes get an idea here of the price history. Now this just shows it listed for $48,400, and that's a reduction. They don't show what it was listed for before that, but if you did the math, what would that be? Maybe $75,000 it was listed for originally. Now here you can tell the property taxes. Boy, look at that tax assessment. Wow. How much they paid, what the assessed value of the taxes are, or were. So that's kind of interesting too. Let's see if they, okay, last sold in 2001 for $87,000. So that kind of gives you an idea too. Let's go back and see what else came up. Sometimes you'll see a YouTube video of it, which in this case probably just means a slideshow they did and put some music to. Trulia is another good one to look at. Sometimes there'll be a little bit more information on there, a little bit different information, maybe even different pictures. Shows you the acreage, that's kind of nice. This tells you the real tax, what was assessed at, the market value that it was assessed at, so that's better than Zillow. Oh, this has got another sold here. It looks like it was foreclosed for 117. Okay, so it's a little more recent than Zillow. And then this is nice too. This shows you sold homes in the distance, and you can kind of see if they're like properties as far as bed, bath, and square footage. You can see a huge range there, right? 34 to 120. Wow. So if you looked them up, probably this one, the 34, was probably a foreclosure, and that's part of the difference there. Or it could be something seriously wrong with it, a burnout or something really bad. Or it could be, in one area is a nice neighborhood, and you just a block or two over is a really rough area. Okay. All right, let's go back. Sometimes you'll see some other agents that have listed it as well, too. Let's check one more, homes.com, see if they give us anything different. We got some recent sold comps, nothing big there. Another site to go to is called Rentometer. Now, rentometer.com, put in, let's just put $700 a month, and I think this was a 3-bedroom. Let me double check here. Yeah, 3-bedroom. Okay. So this gives you some stats there. The median rent's $780. It could show you some different percentiles, but usually when I look at the median, close to the average, but not exactly the same thing. See what the rent is right in the middle. So $780, and that's usually pretty accurate as far as these kind of services. So you figure it's going to rent for around $780, $775, $750, $800, somewhere around there. So again, if you go back to the sales price of this property, I think it was 44, something like that, 48.4. So $780 is well over 1% rent to cost ratio. Of course, 1% would have been $440 or something a month. 780 is getting close to 2%, which is good. So that's a good rent to cost ratio if you or your buyer plans to hold the property as a rental or as comparison for seller financing or lease option. Another good site to look at is Crime Spot. Spot Crime. Okay. Put in the address. And there you go. Now, this one wasn't really that good. Different addresses have better or worse information. You can tell here this is pretty broad. I mean, it's this huge area covering Birmingham and a lot of miles. Not very accurate. So you might look at that and go, wow, man, there's a bunch of shootings and stuff. Let's take another property, though, as an example. I can show you how they can be more accurate. Let's look at this one. Okay, so this one's more specific. This is in Alexandria, Kentucky. You see, we're kind of zoomed in. We're probably in Alexandria right here. We're not looking at the city and a whole bunch of other cities, a big area. And so you can see there what kind of crimes are going on. Now, right off, you notice no shootings, which is a good thing. Those bullets. But you can tell here what kind of stuff they have going on. And what time period, burglaries, that kind of stuff. And this isn't anything I'd be really concerned about. In fact, a lot of times if you're looking in an area with a lot of foreclosures, a lot of abandoned or vacant properties, you will see more burglaries. That's just common sense, isn't it? So you'll see people stealing copper or stealing HVAC or something. That's not necessarily a big red flag, depending on what you want to do with the property. There's a lot of times a vacant property will attract theft and burglary, but just putting someone in there really takes care of that. Another site you can look at is Find Comps Now. This is a free site. Let's see what that zip was, 41001. And the site's okay. Sometimes they're close, sometimes they're way out of whack. This time, I'd say they're way out of whack. 216,000. I mean, that's crazy. It takes a while for the comps to load. And I'd say even from the comps, it doesn't justify that. I don't know where they got that. But sometimes you will find some good information on here. If there's a cash buyer, a finance buyer. Let's just try another address since that one was so goofy. Okay, this one's a little more in line probably. And that still looks like it's out of whack too. Well, you can see why this is a beta version, right? And again, none of these is going to be something that you're going to necessarily make a final offer based on. Of course, the best information is always going to be comps pulled by an agent, CMA. Last issue you want to look at, or at least just for this video, on due diligence is determining your repair costs. Now, of course, you want to look at pictures. If it's a HUD property, you want to look at their PCR, property condition report, their escrow, what they said it's going to cost to repair it. That's different than rehabbing it. So we want to get just a repair estimate to be able to make a good offer. And a good rule of thumb, if you've read Flipped by Gary Keller, is use cost per square foot. And of course, that depends on the area, depends on the level of rehab. But a good rule of thumb that we found is $15 a square foot. So if we're looking at, let's just take a property here. Let's just take this Dartmouth property. Okay. So this house right here, it's 1,800 square feet. Wow, it's pretty bigger than it looks. Okay, 1,800 square feet. And so if we said, let me do the math here. So 1,800 times 15 bucks. The rehab is going to be $27,000. That might be high, might be low, but it's probably pretty conservative. Now in your area, or the area you're looking at, maybe it's 12 or 10 or something that you found to be true. But at least with 15, in most areas, you're pretty conservative. If you say it's 27, it's probably not going to come in over 27. So that's a good safe bet. And you can choose a different number, but you definitely need to know whether you're wholesaling or rehabbing it. You need to know what the repair costs are going to be to make an offer or a ballpark. Then once you get an accepted offer, you can have the contractors check it out and give you the written repair estimates and really drill down and get more accurate with you. So I hope that helps, guys, on doing some due diligence online.